If you own a brand and you're not live streaming yet on TikTok Shop, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. Live streaming is the next big wave. It's already happening in China and it's coming to the US quicker than you could expect it. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down why it's happening, how to plug it into your brand and your current affiliate system, and I'm even going to bring up the biggest objections I always hear from brands. By the end of this video, you'll know how to implement the live streams and the exact equipment you need to get started by next week. So let's get right into it. We're on the computer now, and these are just some examples of some branded live streams from recent, but let's go ahead and hop right into the data, which I love seeing, to be honest. So this graph right here shows us Asia's revenue for live streaming versus USA's revenue for live streaming, and it also shows Europe. But that's insane. We have a ton of room for growth, right? So does Europe. So in my opinion, I love seeing stuff like this because I know that there's a big market that we could really attack with live selling here in the US. And just for some more data, TikTok Shop did about 33 billion last year in 2024. The US only did about 9 billion of that, which is still insane. Now, I say live selling is not just a fad, it's early and it will continue to keep growing, right? And this is just another data stat that I wanted to pull up as well. This is showing you revenue coming from videos and live streams for TikTok Shop, which is insane because obviously video still dominates 50 to 60%. But live streaming is just 10 to 15%. That could easily double, if not triple, by 2025, 2026 for TikTok Shop, which I love seeing that because think about it. If people are already doing $1 million lives right now in 2025 with TikTok Shop, that means there's next we're going to see an 8-figure live, right? 10 million plus soon, which is going to be amazing. But let's go ahead and hop right into how you could get ahead and how you could dominate, right, for your brand with live selling. First off, you don't need a $1 million studio, right? You don't need to renovate your whole warehouse. You don't need to find a warehouse so you could change everything up. All you need is a phone and a good microphone and a great host. This is what I always say. You, the founder, is always going to be the best host possible versus just you hiring a random person, right? Not saying that random person can't be great, but there is a lot of training involved with that compared to you already know your product, you know the ins and outs of it, you know why someone needs it, right? Because this is how I frame it. This is what I tell every single host we work with. Imagine every single person that hops in the live, they know absolutely nothing about this product. They don't even know what it is. So it's your job to sell them on it pretty much in about 15 seconds, which is extremely hard, right? But that's why there's other methods, right? You have to make sure that the host is always being interactive, making sure the host is making them stay, quote unquote, making them stay, I say. But yeah, that's the biggest thing. You don't need $1 million studio. You just need a decent camera, which iPhone is great, and a great microphone, which runs you maybe 100 to $200 depending on what mic you get. I recommend the Rode. I recommend the DJI one. There's great alternatives at the end of the day, but yeah, audio matters a ton, and I see this a lot with brands that their audio is just really bad, which is crazy because it really is a simple fix. And for the second one, it's going to be leverage your current affiliates. If you're actively selling on TikTok Shop, you might already have a roster of 100 to 200 affiliates, and some of them might already be going live for you, right? But you're not talking to them. Message them, be like, hey, how's it going? How's the lives been? What questions have you been getting that you couldn't answer? Where could we help with you, right? And also offer them a bonus. Be like, hey, if you hit X amount in revenue, we will give you this bonus, right? And it pushes them even more. And I love seeing that because you live streaming is only one live stream, right? Compared to leveraging your affiliates, I mean, you're talking about 10 live streams, 20 live streams, 50 live streams all at the same time. I see it every single day. When I go on my live stream feed, I scroll. To be honest, I scroll like a couple times and I see the same product. And they both have amazing viewers, right? Because there's so many viewers on TikTok Shop. Like if one person is going crazy on a live stream with one product, someone else could still be doing great with that same product, which is insane. But leveraging your current affiliates is going to be huge. And lastly, it's going to be test your best sellers, right? Test different SKUs, whether you have different SKUs, but let's just say if you're only a single SKU store, that's fine. But you can still have quote unquote different SKUs. You could have a 1-pack. You could have a different listing for a 2-pack. You could have a live only listing that's a 3-pack that you give a crazy discount on just because obviously you're, like, let's just say if you're going live, you're not paying the 20 to 40% commission that you're giving out no more. So that just adds to the bottom line that you could pretty much lower the price a lot more, right? And it's only for your branded lives, which will be great because now people will follow you. They'll see when you go live and they're always going to be active on the live streams. And it builds out a little community, which I'm a big fan of. Had one more here. promote the live streams. This is one thing I see a lot of people don't do, especially the branded ones, right? If you're a brand and you want to go live consistently, post it on your TikTok. Hey guys, we're going live tomorrow. Make sure you guys are tuning in. We're giving out crazy deals. We're going to be running a giveaway every 30 minutes. You could win the same giveaway every 30 minutes. Hurry up and hop in. Follow us, guys. Post that every single day, right? And let's just say if you're gonna have a special guest, like, hey, we're gonna have a special guest, he's huge, and wherever you're from, right? Like, you have to make it aware. No one knows you're live if no one knows you're live. That makes sense, right? And the more eyes that see it beforehand, they'll follow you and they'll get that notification once you go live, right? That's one thing I always push on. Promote the lives. Talk about it. Post it everywhere, right? Tell your affiliates to post it, you know? That's one thing I always tell. Now, you might be having some questions, and we're going to be breaking down the questions I always get asked. The number one question is, we tried it, but it didn't give us a return. Number one, a lot of people try it for like a couple days, and they're sad because they didn't see any type of return. First off, I do say live streaming takes about 2 to 4 weeks to really build the foundation up, right? So for 2 to 4 weeks, you could be expecting 5 to 10 viewers consistently, and that's it, right? There might be some times where it's like gets up to 40 or 50, but for you to have like great numbers, you have to build up the solid foundation of the live stream first. And that goes for every single page, right? If you want to have like an English version page and a Spanish version page, you have to build up the foundations on them separately. That's what I always recommend. So a lot of people say we tried it, but they didn't really try it because you tried it for a few days, even a week. That's not a real test to see if it was going to work for your brand or not. And PS, it probably will work for your brand. You're just not putting enough time into it, right? Now for the second question. Oh, same question. That's my error. But second one I always get is our product won't do well on lives. You're 100% wrong. I've seen almost every product do well on live. What I'm recording on right now is a gimbal. I've seen gimbals go live and crush it on live streams. I've seen monitor stands go live and crush it on live streams. And you know why they crush it? It's because they're answering questions actively at the moment they get asked. Because think about it. You have a viral video. There's so many questions that go unanswered, whether it gets answered in a comment reply about 5 days later, or it just never gets answered, or it gets answered by a random person that's just answering it wrong. And I see it every single day. That's why live streams are so powerful, right? There's direct returns and there's indirect returns, if that makes sense. So let's just say someone watches your product from a viral video, but they have a question. They asked it on the video, is not going to get answered, right? But they click the product and they see that the page is live. You're like, oh, okay, let me hop in and ask them the question. They ask the question and they get it answered right away. Boom, converts. But that sale won't count as a live sale. It'll still count as a sale from the affiliate, right? So it's kind of hard to track like the indirect conversions from it. But I always say any questions that get answered is amazing because I just one step closer to a sale, right? So I always say there's no such thing as a product that won't do well on live. You know, if it's allowed on TikTok Shop, it'll do well on a live stream. And for the last one, we don't have a location setup for a branded setup. Like I said earlier, you don't need a $1 million setup. All you need is a phone and a great microphone. That's it. You could do it straight from your house as long as like it's a decent backdrop, right? And just have the products in front of you, right? At the end of the day, the host is the most important figure of everything for a branded live stream. You have to make sure the host is really dialed in, and if that's you, the founder, you're gonna do amazing because you know the product more than anybody else at the end of the day. Then I have it set up to creator versus branded streams. Now I want to talk about this a little bit, and I talked about it a little bit earlier, but I want to talk about the benefits of both. Now obviously for the creator live streams, it feels a little bit more trustworthy because it feels personal to the viewer, right? Because they know at the end of the day, it's a regular person just going live. It's not the brand going live. So you're like, okay, I kind of relate more with this person at the end of the day. It's raw, right? No insane production needed. And my last point, which I talked about it earlier, I love, you could have a dozen live streams going at the same time. Because if you have, let's just say, like I mentioned earlier, 100 to 200 people actively in your roster, you could have 50 of them going live at the exact same time, which is insane. Think about it. That's 50 live streams where a person could come across it and just ask a question. It's so insane. I see it all the time where a person comes into a live stream. They weren't planning to buy, but they started asking questions because they got interested, right? And they got interested because of the host, which is very important. But they got interested. They started asking questions. And by those questions, the host actually converts them to a sale. I see it every single day, and I love seeing that. Because at the end of the day, like if you're selling a great product, then it's great for them, right? They got an amazing product that will benefit them. They just didn't know they needed it, right? That's the biggest thing, right? That's why I love the creator live streams. Now let's talk about the benefits for the branded live streams. It's a professional live setup. It gives like the best feeling to the customer, in my opinion, because they're gonna know the question that gets answered, it's from the brand, right? Whether it's right or wrong, it's coming directly from the source. So you'll be able to hear from your customer support. But yeah, trained hosts, they could answer all questions, or they should be able to answer all questions, right? Because whether that's you, the founder, you're gonna know almost everything, or that's a host that you hired, make sure they know the ins and outs of the product as well. To be honest, for me, whenever we're hiring hosts, I make sure they actually use the product. Whether they've used the product before, I'm like, hey, okay, for the trial period, actually use the product. See how you like it. That's just my personal preference, because at the end of the day, I'm gonna know, like, they know how to use it. They know the good and the bad on it, because at the end of the day, if something's not that amazing for them, I'm like, hey, okay, let's try this different product to go live, because it seems like this is not gonna be the best fit, because you have to talk with conviction. And this is built for conversion. And it's also building a community. I talked about this earlier, but I do want to talk about it a little bit more right now. Building a community is huge. I've seen it firsthand recently with the brand that we just started live streaming with. We started with them from zero. They were not doing live streams before. We got them from 0 to 150 active viewers. So, and they were getting that consistently as well, which is insane. And that only took about 4 weeks. So, and from 4 weeks, 0, weren't live streaming. In 4 weeks, they were getting 150 viewers consistently. And about 20 to 30 of them were people that were there every single day, right? We built our own little squad, you could call it, which was great because they love the host. They would always ask the host. They'd just be interactive. And it makes it so much better for the host, because the host is in great vibes, right? They just think they're talking to friends, which is amazing. But they don't obviously lose track on what's the goal. It's obviously conversion, right? But building the community is so huge, because those people eventually do buy. Like, we track that. I wanted to make sure that I don't have people in there that were in there for 4 weeks and never bought the product. You know, whether it's discounts, whether it's giveaways, I made sure they got products in their hand, because if you're going to be watching the live stream for that long, you need to try the product. You know, that's my thought process on it. But yeah, it's very slept on the community aspect, especially on TikTok, in my opinion. There's a lot of Shopify brands that have like their Facebook groups and stuff like that. Amazing. Those things are really slept on, and I think we should start implementing it as TikTok Shop brands. Now you might be asking, which one is better? Pretty sure you saw it already. They're both great. They're both amazing. And the cool thing is, you could do both at the exact same time, right? It's not one or the other, right? For me, I always get stuck on, why not do this? Let's just do this, right? Like, it's not or, it's an and. You could do both. It wouldn't be a problem. Now let's talk about, where do I start with my current brand? Now, for equipment, like I mentioned, you don't need much. You just need a phone or a camera. Whether you already have a camera, use that. It looks a little better. A wireless microphone, a tripod, and some lighting. You could legit get 2 lights from Amazon. They're $80. A tripod costs you maybe $20. The wireless microphone, another $100. You're probably $200 in for the whole setup. Let's just say, because you already have a phone. You're watching this on the phone, so it's only about $200 to get started live streaming right now. You know, and these are just the things that are mandatory. Like, you need this. If you're gonna go live, you need this list. Write it down. Now, you could get fancy, right? You get a whole set built out. Like, some options are like custom banners. Some brands do that. Or custom wood panels. And 3, to make it more like a room appearance. And that's what we do, obviously, as you can tell right here. These are like the different setups that we have for our brands. But, yeah, you can get fancy with it. And at the end of the day, these aren't that expensive either, right? It probably run you a couple hundred, maybe $1,000. But still great. Now, in this one, as you can see, I have another arrow. And I want to talk about getting started with creators, right? Because I said getting started with your brand as you streaming, but let's talk about getting started with creators. You need to incentivize live streaming, whether that's hourly commission or hourly, right? Sometimes I do like a mixture of both, because at the end of the day, if someone's bringing you, let's just say $100 in revenue an hour, it's nice paying them $10 an hour, because they're still getting, let's just say, 20%. So now they're making $30 an hour, right? And I always like that, just because it more guarantees that they will go live for those hours, right? And get every sample sent out, a good SOP for live streams, right? What I normally see is like brands do great SOPs, amazing SOPs, but they don't have nothing included in their SOPs for live streams. When I'm saying SOPs, I'm pretty much just saying creator briefs. In their creator briefs, they have no section for live streams. There's creators that are only live streamers, and they crush it, right? And maybe they want to request a sample of your product, but then they see the creator brief and they're like, hey, like, I mean, like, I do well with live streaming, I already know what to do, but like some tips would be nice, right? And someone might argue with me saying, well, in the creator brief, you don't need a video section and a live section. Like, all the details are there. You're probably right. But at the end of the day, it's nice to separate it because there are some facts that will convert better with live streaming. And I always say encourage affiliates why live streamings are good add-ons with videos, right? So let's just say if someone has never tried live streaming, give them a chance, right? Whether that's with hourly or a higher commission, be like, hey, you have been crushing it with videos. Why not try live streaming? You know, this is your full-time stuff. We'll give you an hourly and we'll give you higher commission, and those higher commission will convert with your videos as well, right? Incentivize them as much as you can because live streaming, it just crushes it, as you can see, like insane. And it just goes back, right? Like I mentioned, you could do both of these at the same exact time. It doesn't hurt you at all. If this person is going live or you're going live, it doesn't hurt, you know? And if you don't want to go live for your brand, I'm sorry, shameless plug, feel free to follow me on LinkedIn and message me on there. We do full setups for brands. We have a full-time staff that could go live for your brand. You pick the host, you see which one fits the brand image the best, and we start going from there. But remember, being early is an advantage. I think as a brand owner, we all know that being early pays a lot. And as you can tell by this graph, we're extremely early because this graph versus the other graph showing Asia's revenue, we have a lot of room for growth, right? And we're not stopping. So this is my challenge to you. Pick one of your products. Whether you only have one product, that's fine. Pick one product, pick a host, either that's you or that's someone else, and just go live for about 3 to 5 hours. And just do it for 5 days straight. And just comment back what happened after those 5 days. Even though I did say earlier, a week is not a real test, but just get into the habit. You know, it doesn't even have to be 3 to 5 hours. Go live for at least 2 hours. Bare minimum 2 hours, because that's what I always recommend people. If you don't go live for 2 hours, obviously some people have thought processes that like TikTok stops pushing you because they see you're not trying, but just go live for at least 2 hours, just so you know that you're putting effort into it, right? And when I say pick one product, like I mentioned earlier, whether you only have one SKU, make a live SKU. Make a 3-pack that's only for the lives, or you're making a pretty hefty discount, but it's because you're going live or you have a host going live. And one, you'll move more units. You have your product in the hands of people that were probably never going to buy it from a video, but they got their questions answered, so they're going to buy it from the live stream, which is huge. But this is my challenge to you. Hopefully you do it. So here's a recap. Live stream selling is huge. It's coming to the US and it's not going to slow down. So be early. And we know being early pays off. You don't need a big studio. Just get a simple iPhone and mic setup and start live streaming. Drop in the comments if you already tried live streaming or what's holding you back. I'll respond to every single person trying to help you out as much as I can. And if you're a brand that wants to go bigger with branded live streams, feel free to click that link down below to see if we can work with each other. I appreciate everyone for watching. Make sure you click that like and that subscribe button because I'm posting weekly videos helping you crush it as a TikTok shop seller.